What's up, Maffers? It's your boy, Laughers up, May. Out here on vacation, looking cute, still looking clean, and looking very sexy. And I'm here with my boy, Afro Cummy 765, aka Tori. How you doing today, my guy?
You already know. Here to talk wrestling, give them that daily dose of dirtbag and keep it moving.
Let's go. So we got a lot of news today. We got the Vince McMahon interview at 75K average, the entire hour and 24 minutes. Pat do numbers anyway. He do about 40K, but 75K. Only time he get beat by that is only time he beats that is when Aaron Rodgers in football and NFL, and we all know how the NFL is king. Even Vince admitted that in this interview. He like they on some other level.
Begrudgingly. He'll never say the XFL was a failure, but
NFL on another level. I saw people arguing about WWE and AEW and the numbers. I'm like, NFL be doing 65 million on a regular season game.
Yeah, but lot more time behind the NFL. A lot older money.
Yeah, and then they got multiple billionaires. So
multiple. Which Tony Khan is one of.
Yeah, Shad Khan, the father, is owner of probably the worst one. And he's probably like the 10th richest out of the whole group, which is crazy.
Yeah. The bumper business booming.
Jerry Jones and all them. But today Vince had an interview with Pat McAfee, and it was actually incredible.
A suit interview.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a work, but it wasn't a work.
We all did.
Now they might make it. I got a theory, Tori, before we get started. I got a theory that Vince might use clips from this and like show MJF how old man can get it done in turn. You think you can play sympathy?
Yeah, I forgot. Zelmay came to the conclusion that MJF is the missing McMahon child. Vince went out and had a tryst at some point, allegedly. MJF was the result of it.
You heard Vince say my first wife, I mean my current wife. I ain't hear that slip up.
Yeah. I was gonna say he tried. Hey, I'm not gonna lie.
We playing.
I feel a lot different now that I know that the mumbling, grumbling, can't understand Vince is a work, because I wasn't sure, honestly. I thought maybe he was really, but no, that's really just him laying it on, because this whole hour, for being 76 years old and never sleeping, super cognitive.
By the way, as podcasters, we have to pray for the mic, because first Brock breaks the disc, and then Vince throws the mic around.
I was about to say, Vince just smack. At a certain point, I thought he was doing it on purpose, and then I was like, he's 76 years old. I mean...
Hey, you notice he didn't have a headset, because if y'all don't know, Brock threw it into the Raptors.
Yeah, I was going to say, and it ain't came back down since. Nope.
They actually take a picture of it every time. So, by the way, for the people that don't know, Pat McAfee, go watch it. Amazing hour and 24-minute interview. Matter of fact, they was going to end it after the hour, and Vince like, we done? No, I'm having a great time.
Shout out to Vince for coming here to good old Indiana.
Yeah, so he came to Indiana, Torrey State, where they from. If you can see the 765 and his name at the bottom now. All the links in the bio. By the way, like and subscribe. Help your boys out. The link in the description.
I was about to say, press the buttons, y'all. Press the buttons.
Yeah. But the interview put a lot of light on Vince. You saw a lot of human to Vince, more so than ever.
I still think he's part robot. Pat hit the nail on the head. I still think he's part robot, but
I got maybe by him, so we all did.
Cyborg. He's a cyborg. He's not a robot. There's still some natural components in there.
So he's a cyborg. He's not a robot. God,
I'm not gonna lie, and this is gonna sound crazy to everyone, but this interview made me like Vince McMahon to hopefully he is still 100 and running the WWE. I'm not saying it's gonna be good or not, but he got over with me. I can't lie, because I was waiting for the shenanigans. I was waiting for it. If we'd have put money, this would have been not the first time that Austin Theory lost me some dollars, because he's amazing. I'm always going to put over Austin Theory, but I definitely thought, like Pat even teased it during the show. They worked us. They worked us into doing an amazing interview with one of the hardest people to interview in the business, period, dot.
What they say, he hasn't been interviewed in 15 years?
15 years. And when he was, like I said, it's the truth. If you go back, people, and you look at old Vince McMahon interviews, Vince has done slapped reporters. Vince has cursed people out. Vince in interviews be off the chain, which, I mean, now I don't know if it was the 80s and it was a Wild West and he was just a little wilder then, or if he's really, man. It was a crazy interview with a crazy person, and it was done amazingly. I can't even lie. But one of the best interviews I've watched, bar none, topic-wise. I mean, of course, I'm biased because we're here on a wrestling show, so of course I watch my fair share of wrestling podcasts, but even whether it's because I'm a big underground hip-hop head too. So, I mean, just across the board, one of the best interviews. Maybe games going on Drink Champs, I think. So it could get, or either that or $1 million worth of games. So that could get crazy. But beside the point, Pat McAfee, Vince McMahon, the interview was amazing, and we got a lot of details that we haven't heard before.
Yeah. We found out JR a snitch.
Yeah, straight ratting. But man,
he a late snitch too. It was a snitch that didn't even help.
After he was hired for, he even told the story to Vince. He was like, "Yeah, you know, Bill Watson, them back in the day, man. Okay, all the old school wrestling fans out here that might or might not listen to this and be angry about something that we say. One thing that I think we can all agree on is that Bill Watts was mad thuggish, and it's not crazy to think." In the days of Midwest and Mid-South and all those other mid-wrestling organizations of the late 70s, early 80s into the Ford Turner and Vince. I love how Vince actually talked about how his father would have been super angry with how he did everybody after old Vinny Sr. went around and promised everybody that there'd be no hostile takeovers. He still respected all borders, and Vince came behind and was like, "No, I'm making offers to everybody," and it worked. But I think we got to see a lot in this interview that we did, and part of me still thinks that Vince was working, even if it wasn't for the product's sake. I don't know if an actual shoot Vince McMahon interview is possible.
Yeah. He shout out to Pat. I don't know. Some people a few people, it wasn't a lot, because we can't pretend like a lot, was upset that he didn't ask him more pressing questions. I'm like, have you ever watched Pat's show? He never presses people. He asked the question, which I was shocked he mentioned AEW 3 times.
I've only watched a few of Pat's interviews, but he always seems to get the mix right. He knows what he's doing. They wouldn't have cut him that $100 million deal from FanDuel if they didn't think that they were going to recoup the investment.
Yeah. If you ever watch a Pat interview, he doesn't press. He asks, but if you don't answer, he's not going to be like, "I'm going to make you answer." He's just like, hey, that limousine. I did not expect him to ask about to send me the limousine.
There was a lot of stuff that he really.
Vince skipped over a lot of them questions.
But I noticed he didn't ask Vince about. He didn't break one of the cardinal sins, and he did not ask Vince about his father. All the stuff that Vince said about Vince Sr. was stuff that Vince said. I did notice that that's the one thing that Pat did not broach at all. He did not ask Vince about Vince Sr. And I mean, we've all heard the stories about how that goes over. If you are crazy enough to, the only person that's gotten away with it in the last 10 or so years is Paul Heyman, and he had a whole meeting beforehand before he did it. And it was different for Paul because he actually worked for Vince Sr. back in the day.
Yeah, he actually knew him personally. So
yeah, it wasn't somebody cutting a promo on it, because Vince, if not anything, he's protective of his parents' memories. We've all you can't speak with Vince Sr. with anything less than reverence in your tone, or it could be broached as a offense.
Yeah, one thing I noticed, like I said, yeah, I don't know what y'all don't watch Pat. If you think Pat was gonna ask just press questions, he
Yeah,
asked about I was shocked he
he
did
didn't
3
seem like
AEW
that kind
comments.
of guy to me.
I was shocked he got 3. He talked about AEW 3 times.
Hey, I
was
wasn't shocked that Vince dodged every one of them like he was playing goddamn Elden Ring, bruh. Vince got them gamer reflexes, and he did it seamlessly though. And that's
like fake answering the question.
Those deep, bro. Like his quick dodge was on point, and he did what he did was he quick dodged, and then he segued it into the heavy attack because he started a whole different conversation from the segue after that every time, and it was Vince McMahon talking to you, so you just sort of listened and went about.
Yeah, when Pat asked him about AEW buying ROH and competition, like I don't fear no competition.
Vince dumped on Triple H hard with the subs.
Yo, people don't say it. He basically said if we had to cut people that didn't work for. Which I understand, by the way. Sometimes you got to.
Yeah, but man, have we gotten a better product because of it, though? Like, think about how crazy it would be if Vince would have bought Ring of Honor in 2018, like Triple H tried to get him to do. You think we get AEW really, or does Vince have too much of a stranglehold once again at that point?
Well, Vince would probably actually give that to Triple H or somebody.
He was supposed to. We all thought that he was giving NXT to Triple H.
It was a way I didn't think about that because I actually believed that. I actually believed about the ROH.
Triple H gave us 5-6 years of some of the best wrestling.
But that was supposed to be developmental anyway, so I didn't expect Vince to actually give up developmental. ROH would be something completely different. Like I don't think Vince cares about NXT UK. We joke about it. But he don't really care about NXT UK.
Let's praise the wrestling gods that Vince does not care about NXT UK.
Because you could tell, but NXT is supposed to be like the developmental for the main roster, so I think he cares more about that now.
Yeah, and the fact that it's developmental does make it kind of look crazy when you really think about it. That it's supposed to be developmental. When you see guys like Tommaso Ciampa and LA Knight there, who are guys that are veterans at this point, aren't green by any, and not saying anyone who knows me knows I am a Tommaso Ciampa stan, bruh. For real,
he kind of moving Tommaso Ciampa to Raw. He done changed the theme and everything.
Man, but what is he gonna? They changed his intro music on Raw. Did you hear that? He didn't even come into the "No One Will Survive." It was a completely no-word song, super generic.
What's up with Vince and the generic songs now with no like?
No, but I mean, he's been on NXT this whole time with his theme song that we all know and love. That I mean, literally has big time currency, at least in my opinion, as far as theme songs go. Like theme songs matching their wrestler, they're very I'm not gonna say it's Johnny Gargano Rebel Hearts level, but it's at least Shinsuke Nakamura level of the cohesiveness between the music and the wrestler. There are very few wrestlers whose theme song really fits them. One of the ones that I hate to admit, but Hulk Hogan, think about his theme song. Perfect. I'm a real American. Yeah, you are definitely American. Super racist, extra problematic, anti-vax. American.
Who's less popular than Glenn Jacobs?
I'm super trepidatious. Part of me wants Tommaso Ciampa to leave, and ROH is coming back. Go be ROH champion, Tommaso. Because, bruh, as beautiful as it was a good tag team match, and I know I'm taking us off track, but we talked about Tommaso Ciampa, so I got to get this off my chest, and I did in the chat. I might not have, but the Steiner singlet, bruh, he has the most unflattering body type ever for that singlet. It made him look crazy.
It's a hit. I get it's an old school homage thing that he did.
Bro, I don't care. Did it have to be pink? Couldn't he have came out
that's bronze?
It would have been bro. If it was Tommaso, Listen, Braun Breaker was wearing a black singlet with Breaker on the front of it and red letters when he beat Tommaso Ciampa. Why didn't you just bring them both out? He could have wore the black singlet with the red Breaker. Ciampa could have had one that said Ciampa or something of the sorts. And just the color, Tommaso Ciampa does not look good in rainbows, bro. I hate to say, and I don't mean that offensively. I'm just saying, bro, he is the black heart of NXT. He's out here wearing rainbows. What are you doing?
Well, it's an old school homage tag team thing.
Amazing spear. Braun Breaker's spear game.
That spear got over with even Ricky Starks and AEW people like that was
and
beautiful.
Ricky Starks has a mean spear.
He does it.
Ain't none of them. I'm still in the camp of the Tribal Chief having the best spear in the game, kinda. Outside of maybe the super underrated Gore from Rhino, not Ryback. Rhino. He got the Gore. That's a mean spear. But anybody who played college football and goes to the WWE is probably going to be spearing people.
Yeah, when you, like
look at Roman.
When you get
at Bill Goldberg.
When you get Ricky Starks to say your spear is amazing.
Never wanted to use the spear. But also shout out to Vince McMahon for saying what we all know and that the Undertaker's the realest. He said, Undertaker I never had to worry about him going to WCW. Everybody else jumping ship, running off. Taker was there. He could have almost been the gobbledygooker, and he was still there.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm an Undertaker stan.
But yeah.
We have the same birthday. I know anyone who's actually watched this, anytime we talk about the Undertaker, I say that, but it's truth.
Yeah. But Vince, like I said, Vince exposed a lot. He said he got rid of a lot of people. He said he's ready for any confrontation. He's ready for the thing, but he skipped over the question.
I like it. Yeah, that was his answer to the first AEW question. He was like, I love confrontation, which, I mean, from all accounts, from everyone that we've heard speak about,
he likes people to fight him.
Yeah. any wrestler that's had a championship run has probably had some sort of fisticuffs or hand-to-hand combat ordeal with Vince. Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle,
Chris Jericho told Kofi.
Undertaker, apparently they didn't play with Undertaker like that.
Apparently when he was finna Kofi, everybody know the Kofi story? When Chris Jericho,
yeah, he thought Kofi was sweet, bruh. He was like, listen here, you ain't
shout Chris Jericho for that story.
No trouble in paradise, that shit crazy.
Chris Jericho, they beat him up. Vince likes it.
Yeah. Like, bro, I hate Chris Jericho so much, but he's got killer Vince stories. He really does. And I mean, I hate him in the lightest sense. I'm not saying. I just wish that his band would get super duper famous and he would get really busy touring with Fozzy.
Yeah.
Go stream Fozzy, people. Save what little wrestling that we have left. Get Chris Jericho on TV.
He said he told a story about how he stayed to graduate. He stayed in front of his professor's house and got threatened to call the police on him. Like, I ain't got nothing to lose.
You gotta remember that in. He found their addresses. He tracked down where they lived, showed up at their homes to ask them to change his grade so he could graduate. And think this was in like probably the 60s. So there wasn't no internet. There wasn't none of that. He was tracking boys down and popping. Vince pulling house checks over his grades, people.
That's the most Vince McMahon thing I think I heard that whole podcast.
I have been on record for many years silently waiting for Vince McMahon to hand the reins over to Triple H, which now we know is never going to happen. And after this interview, I'm almost okay with that. Just because he got over with me. I can't even lie. He really, really did.
Yeah, he
I was like, I like Vince McMahon. This is crazy.
He said multiple people try to put him in the bottom of the river.
I was about to say, bro, can we get the Vince McMahon Netflix? Can we get the Vince McMahon biopic? Can we get a Vince series?
Please, I need to see JR feet in a stall, slide his feet up on top of the while taking a dump and it come out.
Why Bill Watts and the other promoters are talking about putting a hit on freaking Vince McMahon right before he really burst onto the scene? Because you got to think, when he took Hulk Hogan was really his first big poach, if you would, from another wrestling territory, because Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan back then, he was Terry something or other. But anyways, he was an NWA guy. He was one of those guys, or an AWA guy. But anyways, he was Vince's first big take and really sort of propelled. He's a racist, but he carried wrestling before I was born. I can't lie. Even though
probably during a very racist
Hulk
time.
Hogan, garbage in the ring, in my opinion. Not good at all.
I want
The
to get
leg
to this.
drop is a crazy overrated move that's probably almost crippled him. I mean,
I want to get this out. First off, most of you, despite how you feel about Vince, most of you wouldn't even be watching wrestling at this moment if it wasn't for Vince.
facts.
By the way, and I want to say this about this WrestleMania before we get off and go to Tony Khan.
It is kind of crazy. Vince thinks people don't know what the word stupendous means, though. Like, people know what the word stupendous means. Vince,
I think he was talking about people don't understand, don't use it. So, like, when you say the word now, you're going to think of WrestleMania.
Because you know the story, they said Vince didn't know what a burrito was. Vince had been eating burritos for lunch every day, but he didn't know the word burrito. So he was like, he cut an angle because it involved a burrito, and he was like, nobody will know what that is. It was a burrito. We all know what burritos are. So it was crazy to me in a good way. It sort of affirmed things when Vince was like, people don't really know what stupendous means. And it's like, oh, Vince, 2022, a good portion
Pat
of
Burke got a dictionary to explain to everybody what stupendous means.
It was a really good interview.
Yeah. And the last thing I want people to talk about when they talk about celebrities at WrestleMania, celebrities what made WrestleMania.
Cyndi Lauper, bro.
No, the first main event was literally Mr. T and Hulk Hogan and all them.
Bro.
Like, they were in the main event.
They've been hand in hand. It's not always done as bad as the whole Shaq and AEW.
You know what I'm saying? WrestleMania has always been like, why is all these celebrities in the WrestleMania? I'm like, celebrities what made WrestleMania.
I was about to say, celebrities are what give us WrestleMania the WrestleMania feel.
I know for a fact.
Rousey was a celebrity before WrestleMania, the WrestleMania that she debuted. You know what I mean? She was a celebrity there. Sometimes amazing things come from celebrities coming to WrestleMania. For one,
Tori, I know for the last 10 years, it's been all wrestling for most of it with one celebrity. But before that, it was like sweet with celebrities all through the night.
Bro.
I know it's been like based on The Undertaker and them.
The Big Show.
Yeah, Mayweather, Big Show. It's been normal. And people complaining like, why are these celebrities?
Donald Trump and Bobby Lashley.
That's main event.
Yeah.
In the main event.
And if you look at it historically, those are the WrestleManias that have done numbers, both attendance and buy rate wise. Hey,
by the way, people complaining about the buy rate of WrestleMania. I'm not even trying to put over WWE because a lot of stuff they do make me mad. But people are like, they only sold this much so far.
Crazy.
They only sold this much so far. I'm like,
yeah,
bro, they haven't even announced nothing but like what? They just announced their third match Monday.
Yeah.
Well, they announced two. They got 4 matches.
We are only a month out though.
That's which is kind of. But still, you don't know what's going to be on the card.
You gotta think. We've heard stories that Vince plans WrestleManias months and months.
Oh, he don't
and
do
months
that no more. He don't even plan Raw to the day of.
Yeah, we can tell. We can tell. And he definitely be taking naps during SmackDown, and that's why it's decent sometimes.
It said Paul and Roman.
I am both burying and trying to put Vince McMahon over at the same time. Man got me twisted. It's crazy.
But you gotta give him credit because wrestling wouldn't be wrestling without Vince. Wrestling wouldn't be on TV without Vince.
And I will always give Vince McMahon that. He single-handedly changed the whole landscape of pro wrestling.
Without Vince, there's no AEW.
Not without
you might
Vince,
have ROH, but that's a territory. That'd be a territory thing.
There wouldn't have been an ECW like there was without a Vince. You really wouldn't have got. I mean, there would have been a WCW because Turner, before WCW was WCW, was WCCW, and that was
a territory. It's just gonna be territory stuff.
Yeah, the territory days, which are before me, but I've seen plenty of tapes, so I get the gist of it, people.
Yeah, without Vince, there's no AEW, there's nobody on TV. These people don't get performed, they don't make nowhere near as much money. And it started with him putting celebrities.
Vince brought pro wrestling to a real national television scale. There had never been a network wrestling show that was literally on free TV for real. Like, you hear all these stories about people who they'd watch Mid-South and then they'd get like the illegal cable box and it'd be the first time they'd ever seen the NWA or all that crazy stuff back in the 80s.
Shout out to Pat for admitting to Vince that he used to steal WrestleMania.
Yeah, that was wild and amazing. But Vince just sat there and told you that all of the old promoters from the territories were trying to put a hit out on him back in the day.
Pat was like, yo, I got the black box and I got this for $7.95, my guy. I wasn't paying for WrestleMania. We were poor.
I can't say nothing now because I still watch every pay-per-view and I'm still not paying for any of them. Take that as you may.
But shout out to Pat for admitting that to Vince's face.
Yeah, that was wild.
Well, I don't.
But Vince,
he's kind of his boss. I don't want to say like Vince is actually like Pat's boss, but he is.
Because Pat made it perfectly clear in the interview that he's literally in WWE because he wants to be. Because we all know it's not for the money.
No, he makes more money than everybody.
I hate to tell y'all, but Vince ain't coming nowhere near what FanDuel's giving him.
Yeah, Vince won't even think about putting up no chick like that. You know, I'm thinking Vince probably pays him pretty well the way he.
But I was pleasantly surprised that it was a real interview. And I said in the group in the beginning, I was like, if this interview does not turn into a work at some point, Vince could come out of this as a huge baby face and no shenanigans happen. I mean, the resounding effect that I've seen so far on Twitter, Vince is kind of a baby face right now.
And I need him to go out to the ring and announce that Pat's gonna have a match, and then hit him with a bell, and Austin Theory come out.
Oh, bro, I hate to wish this evil on Pat, but if Pat joined the Kiss My Ass Club, bruh, 76-year-old Vince.
I will give Vince so much credit if he just stole MJF whole thing and be like, screw it, just to do it.
Bro, the bidding war in 2024 could be real, people. Tony Khan better.
Vince, you know how much Vince would get if he just stole exactly what MJF did? I would call that. I would use the same promo.
I mean, if you think about it, they sort of stole the whole collar part of the angle. They sort of stole that. Y'all remember Big Boss Man and Undertaker back in 96?
Oh, yeah.
90, I would say that's powerful imagery. And I can't put that over enough too. It's good. It's a good time in wrestling. MJF is
Vince,
my hero.
Still exactly what MJF did just to be a
and wouldn't care at all. I'd love it. You think Pat's a bleeder though? Because Punk still got it. Punk, and he's still seamless. Either he's still seamless with it, or the cameraman was actually on it. Because I stopped, I paused, I tried to catch the cut, but did not at all. And Punk took his aspirin that day because I heard kids screaming in the background, bro. I heard kids screaming in that audience.
Can I tell y'all the truth? Let's tell the truth. before we get on Tony Khan to end this podcast, MJF is
the best thing in wrestling right now.
He 100% is. He make Tori know. I wanted this feud to be over so bad.
Bro. And look, I told you they could turn this around. You were with
it ain't no they.
This did not have the greatest of starts.
It
did MJF, not. It was a slow builder.
MJF by himself. I'm not giving Punk nothing.
Man, but no,
I wanted MJF to come. I'm like, MJF turn on him right now. That's my whole goal was MJF turn on him right now. Come out because he's talking too long. I don't care about these semantics that Aaron Rodgers Punk is throwing out. I looked in the mirror and said, "Am I a good guy?" I'm like, I don't care about this.
So I'm out here savage. He ain't cared nothing about the Punk part of this. I can't blame him though, because that whole
I need to make up for a mistake.
I was almost literally salivating, waiting for the turn to come. See, and I knew as soon as he hugged him, bro, I was like, it's coming.
I'm like, hey man, just let MJF do what he do, and then you're talking too long.
But I mean,
I do want to give Punk a shout out though. He's not trying to, unlike Chris Jericho, try to outshine.
He ain't out here on Jericho time trying to steal the shine or none of that.
Even though Chris Jericho couldn't anyway, because we cared more about MJF still. Because
you gotta think Chris Jericho already did his shine stealing from MJF though, and MJF has come back like the Phoenix. Because I, for real, at a certain point, I was like, how do you come back from Chris Jericho putting your head in the toilet and giving you a swirly? And he's came back from that, bro.
Yeah, so MJF is
round of applause for MJF. Best thing in wrestling right now, bar none. Any promotion. I mean, he's and the part that people don't like to say, gold in the ring, in my opinion.
Especially since Roman on Vince time now, doing whatever Vince wants, trying his best to get over this main event. We haven't seen at WrestleMania like 3 times. It's hard, bro. I'm like, bro, we done seen this same WrestleMania main event 3 times.
Multiple times.
Shout out to Roman for trying to cut a promo to fire it up. Because he tried his ass off.
Shout out to him for admitting he'd be like, this is the 5th time I done main evented WrestleMania. We were like, that. Roman Reigns getting Undertaker numbers.
Yeah, Roman out here trying his best to make us care.
He is carrying the promotion still.
He was like, hey, I know we done had this, so I'm going to do a promo that ain't got nothing to do with Brock Lesnar. And I'm just going to yell that I own everything and make 100 memes out of it.
And the thing is, even though he did the cheesy security guard move, it was still Brock Lesnar just cracking 10 different people. So it was completely and totally believable. Yo, he even threw the computer chair at the dude. Bro.
That's still my favorite thing to have on. The dude did like this. Brock looked at him.
I also, man, the only person that beating out Roman Reigns and MJF, and I take that back. Hook.
Oh, Hook, yeah,
Hook is still there. Even though I was watching the podcast and I saw Bryan Danielson say that he would like to take on Hook, and I mean, if there was anybody, because they're gonna have to give him his first L at some point, and who better than Bryan Danielson to give him his first L? Who else? And no one in the comments, please say Hangman, because Hangman Page is. Look, Revolution is this weekend.
Hey, can I tell you the truth?
And ask yourself, people, are you more hyped about MJF versus CM Punk in a dog collar match, or Adam versus Adam at the main event?
MJF's your main event.
Bro, I'm agreed wholeheartedly. The dog collar match goes over the world title at this point, in my opinion. MJF's got to be, by 2023.
Hey, I got a problem with that. I got a problem with that finale of AEW. They wasted time, and then Hangman held on to the rope while they were trying to get the tape off, and it looked stupid.
Yeah.
I'm like, look,
It was,
Why would you hang on to the rope like this and they like turn like this trying to get
and like, we got to get the Dark Order does not help Hangman Page's look as a champion since they have been associated with him. And I know people, oh, but look at BT, it's funny. It's not what you want for your world champion if you're going for a serious sports-based presentation. Okay. R.I.P. Brody Lee, but when he went, the Dark Order should have went with him, or they should have done a crazy heel move and lived up to the name of being the Dark Order, because now they're literally mid-card cartoon baby faces.
what? They
basically.
sleep in the bed with Adam Cole.
I know they do, and it didn't stop. It didn't stop him from delivering the Panama Sunrise, though. And I'm gonna give Adam Cole this. The transition where John Silver tried to hit him with the suplex, but he turned it into the patella drop brainbuster, bro. Adam Cole still has his moments of brilliance, but something's got to change. He got, and I hate to be one of those guys. He got to bulk up or because he's got the skills. It's just, how do you look little in a promotion that's predominantly filled with smaller people?
Yeah, if you was around all the 265-pound Bobby Lashley, Brock, Roman.
Yeah, like, bro. And Keith Lee, bro. Like I said, people say he is so much bigger than he was in NXT. And I went back and looked I have video proof. Anyone can go and look at the Keith Lee we're seeing on AEW.
Yo, shout out to Meg Kim vlog. She feeding that man every day.
I was about to say, and I saw they did like a Crunchwrap Supreme video where she was like, I don't eat Taco Bell, but I'm gonna try and using turkey and stuff. Man, thank goodness she's not wrestling anymore, at least from what we've seen, because Mia Yim is.
That's how Mia Yim.
She's a way better YouTuber than she was a wrestler.
I want to shout out Mia Yim. So that's Tori Tate.
See, well, people, if you haven't learned right now, Zelmay is the baby face of this podcast.
Today I am happy. I got stuff that made me happy.
Hey, I have stuff that makes me happy too.
Speaking of stuff that make me happy, Tori. Speaking of stuff that makes me happy, TK bought ROH. Horrible business decision to me. But at the same time, it makes me happy because I get to see the likes of perhaps Jonathan Gresham versus Daniel Bryan main event in the pay-per-view. Probably maybe for the ROH title. Just give me that, and this whole thing will be worth it, even if it's a drain of money on Tony Khan, because stuff like that make me happy.
Do you think he's gonna run it the same way though, or are we looking at some crazy revamp? Do you rest on the lore and the valor that's behind the ROH name, or do you?
You gotta update it. You can't do the same thing because the same thing when it made it go broke.
You gotta update, but the first match that he did after telling us ROH was literally the first match of the first card on ROH minus Low Key. I do believe it was the first match was a 3-way between Low Key, Bryan Danielson, and the fallen angel Christopher Daniels. So, I mean,
that's a homage. I don't mind homages. It brings all the ROH fans that excited back to you.
I hope Christopher Daniels is like slowly thinking about retirement though, because he's going to be one of those amazing minds behind the scenes, like I know he already is, because he's super underrated in my opinion. The fallen angel Christopher Daniels. For those of you who don't know, he was before Vince McMahon decided that he was going to be the higher power. It was me. It was going to be Christopher Daniels in that angle, but Vince thought he was too small, so he replaced him with himself.
That sounds like a Vince thing.
Yeah.
I saw people say this was big as Vince buying WCW. I'm like, nowhere near. This might be big as Vince buying territories.
Okay.
But Vince buying WCW was literally competition at the top.
That was literally him winning the war. Like that was his start to a non-monopoly monopoly.
Yeah. Buying ROH is like a territory because because if we being honest, ROH was in bankruptcy. So you like picking up you picking up a failing company and taking it over.
Bad network deals across the board had crippled ROH's earning power, and most of the people that were actually good there going to AEW, I mean, didn't help. But and this might be petty, but you know what I sort of feel like? What if the whole reason that Tony Khan bought ROH is because they own the rights to All In, which is the beginning of AEW?
Could be.
What if it's that petty? Like what if he's on some Vince stuff, and for his legacy, he needs to own the event that started it all? Because I think sometimes forget that All In was an ROH pay-per-view. I mean, AEW came from it, but it was an ROH pay-per-view.
I see a thing that say Cody might be running ROH. I don't believe that because I don't believe it's TK personality to not deliver information because he's like he does this too much for me to believe that. What's that?
If that happens, if Cody is the Triple H, if he is the Triple H of ROH, and the connections are there, you got to think before Cody went to New Japan or any of that. When he first left the WWE, he made his name in Ring of Honor. He did the wrestling with Steve Amell, Green Arrow, for those of you who don't know. I don't be remembering his name all like that, but Cody and even Dusty did a couple of matches in his later years in ROH too. People seem to forget. I mean, it wasn't a bright spot. He was in bad terms with Vince at the time. So and this was before NXT, I do believe, so he didn't have the behind the scenes role. But Dusty even wrestled in Ring of Honor. So, I mean, the lineage factor and Cody telling us before he didn't renew his contract, before he left, he did in an interview say that he was about to take us on the craziest journey that ever happened in wrestling. And if he comes back running ROH, it might be the biggest work that has happened in my lifetime.
I don't think Tony Khan's ego let him do it. That's my thing. Like, Tony Khan like to do this. He likes to have major announcement.
Bro,
he would have announced this week that he got an announcement next week for all week. Cause that's how he do. You notice how he is. He would have announced already. He got an announcement.
Yeah, he does have announcements on deck. He be spamming the announcement button.
The fact that he ain't had an announcement yet, unless he's saving it for April 1st. Maybe if I don't see Cody by WrestleMania or the Monday night after WrestleMania, I consider
we record. So, I mean,
my man gets announced everything.
It's a pay-per-view, so what's the over-under on somebody surprising showing? Do you think? Do we get Forbidden Door action at?
What, Tony Khan's Forbidden Door or the real Forbidden Door?
But actual Forbidden Door, not free agent door.
I don't know if you really get one.
I mean, Jay White could always but Jay White is still doing the US of J Challenge, and for all the people who watch New Japan, he's about to have a match against Mike Speedball Bailey, which I think is going to be a sleeper of an amazing match. So that's happening WrestleMania weekend. So
I don't know. Maybe Swerve come out and challenges somebody for the.
That's not Forbidden Door though.
I don't think he's doing. He got too many free agents on deck that he want to.
And man, at this point, does anyone from ROH count as a Forbidden Door since Tony Khan has announced he owns?
Well, they wouldn't count Forbidden Door because he's the owner.
About the real important thing with Tony Khan buying ROH.
Jonathan Gresham.
The Briscoes.
Oh yeah, the Briscoes too.
The Briscoes. And I saw Gabe Sapolsky on Twitter dropping hints.
I know he said they want FTR, but you got to give FTR a win sooner or later before we have that match.
Yeah,
FTR be losing. I'm tired.
I think you might have to wait for the breakup of the Pinnacle before they get that shine, because MJF's going to outshine anything right now. And they are.
Can we tell the truth? FTR look like the guy. They did basically the dude that beat up security now.
Yeah. But at least they're not the dudes shaving their backs in the shower.
True. Vince might. Yo, the one thing I do appreciate AEW is if they ain't got nothing for you, Vince, they ain't got nobody that could come up with some stupid for you to do while they ain't got nothing.
Yeah. But that goes into, I mean, what works for one person doesn't work for another. Tony Khan is not Vince McMahon for good and bad reasons, and Vince McMahon isn't Tony Khan for good and bad reasons.
That is
but
true.
As a wrestling fan, you gotta love that we're getting all of this TV. I mean,
for a wrestler fan, this is all good for us. I just still don't see I'm still touring though. I'm disappointed that WWE is not using Logan Paul's social media more.
Yeah.
It's
and
like
honestly, low key, I'm gonna say it now, so it's on video. I think Logan Paul might show out in at WrestleMania. He might be good.
Yeah.
I mean, we know he's good. We know he's at least a decent amateur wrestler from all accounts, and we know that freaking he can box.
Yes,
so maybe he can work.
I'm like, he's not even on the
Bad
shows.
Bunny
I'm like,
can work, so
use the social media platform. That's what he's strong at. Social media.
How many millions and millions of followers does Logan Paul have?
Tens of 20 million on
drop
everything.
A WrestleMania post, bruh. Even if it's once a week leading up to it, the traffic is. But you got to remember, WWE's also got the biggest YouTube for any sports organization with almost 100 million subscribers.
Let's be honest, people just watch that for them classic matches that they grew up as childhood. They put out one a week. If y'all follow WWE YouTube, they put out one a week, and it always get like 20 million views. Like here's Austin versus Bret Hart in 1990.
The Montreal Screwjob.
Yeah, we just put that out once a week, and we get 10 million views, and they get their money off of it.
Yep.
Let's put this classic match up. I'm surprised they ain't going a little more wild with them. Oh, but NXT, if y'all been watching NXT, it's getting very. I feel like Vince is like, hey, let's get back to what we used to do. People that don't realize it, this is reminding me of like 1993.
Low-key, he's backpedaling Attitude Era style.
Yeah, I'm seeing everybody kiss everybody all the time, and then NXT is just. You telling me that Vince didn't know Nikita Lyons move, and they didn't organize it perfectly?
Exactly, bro. It was guaranteed a freaking.
You think Vince didn't notice that? You think the people, Bruce Pritchard, old Hornet, didn't notice?
Bro, that is Bruce Pritchard 101. That's the one thing I hate.
You don't think Gigi Dolan dressed in like no shirt on?
Hey, do you think that Darby Allin is hating it that his ex-wife is blowing up on the opposite brand, getting oogled by millions right now?
Yeah. NXT numbers on like social media do crazy. They don't watch the show. They don't watch the show, but they watch for specific people. Gigi, Nikita.
Look at Gigi Dolan. Shout out to Darby Allin for putting a ring on that, but also we all remember the infamous tampon move from the Indies that she pulled, and though she looks completely different from that now, us real hardcore wrestling fans still remember Gigi.
Cora Jade, they like Vince ain't slick. I'm like, okay, you getting back to your.
I was gonna say he going old school on him.
Let's not pretend like Mandy Rose and have like 3 weeks of her on the beach in a bikini, just doing interviews. I'm like, you not slick
at all.
Dexter Lumis bringing out condoms, and we ain't seen him since.
76 though, bruh. He has been playing us for the fool.
Yeah,
we have thought that he is a feeble old man, and he's out here plotting still.
He made me look weak today. I don't appreciate that, Vent. Talking about squat 1,000 a week. Every week I get about 1,000 on the board. Like, what? I'll whoop you, old man. But all right, please appreciate y'all.
I was like, he put us all to shame. Just remember that, people.
I appreciate y'all. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. What y'all think about the Vince interview. We didn't really go into the interview. We just went over our thoughts a little bit because go watch the interview. It's an amazing interview. It's fun. It's a lot to it. It's a lot to the interview. It's a whole lot. Pat asked some interesting questions, just led to some interesting stories. Some of them I think we heard before, but some of them we haven't. I think the JR story
Good
JR
little
told on
man.
his podcast, but I ain't gonna lie, during that period, nobody watched JR barbecue podcast.
I would say.
I did, but I'm
He
like, this
don't-
ain't getting no views. I get JR, and then he came back to AEW, started going back up, but yeah, man, it's a fun time for wrestling fans. I'm always gonna want more. Why? Because I want wrestling to grow. Again, I'm gonna say this every week. AEW audience average age is like 47. WWE's is 53, I think. It's dying
drop
out. So that's why I'm always gonna preach. Why is WWE not using or paying, at least paying Logan Paul to promote him being backstage, do vlogs? Like, hey man, we pay you.
I was about to say.
If I'm gonna hand you a check, I'm gonna hand you a check, and we got to do some work because I know you got that juice on that social media, especially for that 18, 21, 23-year-old
I was
market.
about to say that demo that they're lacking in and need.
I know an AEW fan gonna come on here and be like, well, they do better than WWE in four. They only 400K out of how many? You know,
Bro,
like,
come on.
I'm like 400K when I was young. Shoot,
That ain't, bro. People
2 million.
forget Stone Cold and The Rock, and even Goldberg and the NWO and not in the 90s, bruh, they were pulling 4, 5, 6, 7 million weekly viewers.
And by the way, I understand that the time different and nobody watch TV no more.
Oh yeah, the times have changed. TV is not what it used to be.
But I'm just talking about the people that watch it. They not interested no more. The YouTube numbers don't be there, and that's the new algorithm. I guess people going to. People rather watch, like I said earlier, people rather watch the Bret Hart and Stone Cold old match and get 20 million views rather than watch some of the new stuff. And please quit we don't care about Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. Please don't make that match, please. Before I get
it's
this is my plea. This is my plea, Vince.
You lost us.
Vince, if I see that match, I'm less likely to click.
You know, it's gonna happen though, man. They need hopefully maybe it'll be on the pre-show and we won't
Make it
actually
Sami
have
Zayn Drew. I would have fun with Sami Zayn running around, run away from Drew for 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Bro.
Make Baron Corbin back in the broke ass Baron Corbin.
Yeah, man, he was so amazing when he was broke and his wife was leaving him.
Y'all wore the same shirt.
Yeah. If only he hadn't a goddamn won that money in Vegas.
I'm like this one is fun. What is this new character? This is boring.
Hey, but looking back, he got that first $100 back in the day from Logan Paul. So
he didn't get it's all full circle. That's long-term storytelling right there.
Yeah, Vince has got the answers, people. He's been fooling us the whole time.
Yeah, he done.
Man, closed captions could not freaking understand what he was saying. And then he gives us an oratory goddamn masterclass
stupendous
on Pat McAfee. Bro, and he was still so quick. Like, the man, he's been working us.
All right, I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank you, Tor, for being here.
You already know.
This is a Good Friday. SmackDown tonight. I hope y'all enjoy that and enjoy the time. Hopefully Roman got to try to carry that show again with Sasha.
He will.
Sasha and Naomi would be fun too, but
yeah, Sasha and Naomi is an ant for me.
People
Sasha
like
there to save the tag team belts, but that's for another time.
Yeah. So I appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe. Tell us what y'all thought in the comments. Anything y'all want to talk about. Anything y'all want to know for the next show. Let us know. You see his ad right there. Mine is in the description below. Zelmay_99 for Twitter. 99_Zelmay for Instagram. You can call me just Zelmay. I appreciate y'all for watching. Hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. We out. Peace.